Hey everybody, welcome to the ReCoop. I'm Cooper Daniels and I'm a guy that knows a little about a lot. And today I have a special guest for you. I am talking to Benedetto Biondi. He is the founder and CEO of Folks Finance. How you doing, Benedetto?
Hello, Coop. Thanks for having me here. I'm very excited. I'm good.
Yeah.
What about you?
I'm great. First is Benedetto. What do your friends call you? Do they call you like Benny or what do they call you?
Okay, I have many nicknames. When
Okay.
I'm abroad, I
Mm-hmm.
kind of say that I'm Ben because it's
Oh yeah.
difficult sometimes.
Yeah.
My friends call me Benny,
Benny.
and
Yeah.
I'm from the south of Italy, so people call me Benedetto. So it's the short
Benedetto.
way. Yeah, Benedetto with the stress
Okay.
on the last E. Yeah,
So for Americans, basically, you say Ben. Then your
yeah,
friends
it's easy.
say
Benny.
Benny, and then the Southern Italians have their own thing. Got it. So okay, we met in Austin. That was only a couple weeks ago,
Yes.
and it was great to meet you.
Likewise,
I
it's true.
I, I do I do have something that I need to bring up though. I hope you'll allow me. So there was a lot of hype about the Folks Finance ping pong prowess. We all were talking about how good you guys have a ping pong table in the office. Your what's your partner's name again? He was supposed to
Filippo.
be Filippo was
Yeah.
supposed to be so fantastic. There was a ping pong tournament at the AVM event, and I was convinced. I bet money on you guys. I didn't really, by the way, and then you guys just get crushed by David Garcia from Borderless Capital and that guy from Reach. Do you know his name? I don't know.
I don't remember the name, but
Dan. Okay.
I don't think it was David. It was someone else. But
Oh, it wasn't.
Filippo, by the way, he arrived at the third. Yes, he didn't
Oh, he
win,
got third.
but
Okay.
yeah, he won the most expensive NFT. So in
Oh,
some kind of way, he won. So
okay.
you
See,
know,
I didn't pay close
you
enough
you,
attention.
you would have bet in the most expensive horse. Let's say.
Yeah, right. Which NFT did he get?
I don't remember, but he
Doesn't
won
matter.
one.
It was the
Yeah.
most. Okay, good. All right. I'm glad to hear he got third. I actually didn't know he got third, so that makes me feel better. All right. So enough of that. There's a lot going on. So okay. So you're the CEO of Folks Finance. For anybody out there that doesn't know, that is a money market. With liquid governance on the Algorand blockchain, and you had a big announcement this week about the evolution of liquid governance. And I want to talk all about that. We're going to break that down. But before we do that, why don't we talk a little bit about you and how you got to blockchain? You're in Italy. Silvio Macaulay is Italian. Maybe there's some sort of connection there. I don't know. But maybe let us know how you got here, how you got to Algorand, and what made you build Folks Finance.
Yes. So I am an engineer. I was graduated in my bachelor in mechanical engineering. Then
Mm-hmm.
I worked as mechanical designer, but I didn't like it. And then I've done my master. It was management engineering and innovation. And
Mm-hmm.
there I was studying big data, also blockchain. And then I found this amazing job in a software house in Milan, which is called Blockchain Italia, where I was doing the project manager for blockchain related projects. Blockchain Italia is a software house. We do consulting. We have our own products. And simply, more or less 3 years ago, we met Silvio in a conference and we understood the value of Algorand and we became to invest and build with this technology.
Mm-hmm.
So this was for us the starting point with Algorand. We became one of the first 12 global partner of Algorand.
Mm-hmm.
And the evolution of that was when we saw DeFi growing on Algorand. There was Tiny Man, Yieldly being built. We were like, okay, we have a competitive advantage, so let's build something cool.
Mm-hmm.
And we've done our due diligence, and we thought that a lending protocol matches best what's the Algorand mission. Algorand is the blockchain built for business application trusted by institution.
Mm-hmm.
We all know the reputation of Silvio and all the governance of Algorand is coming from institution, or it's very well related. So a lending protocol is surely a merging point between traditional finance and DeFi. Well, when this will happen, a lending protocol on Algorand, it's an amazing product. So we thought that this was the best product to build on Algorand. Then we started this in November 2020, and we have done the Algorand Europe Accelerator. At that time, the project was called Algoland. Then we renamed it to Volksfinance because the name explains it. We want to be the finance for the people, for normal people, thanks to the low fees of Algorand. So after the Algorand Europe, in the Algorand Europe Accelerator, for us, the mission was to demonstrate the feasibility of having a lending protocol on Algorand, because at that time there was no virtual machine, so it was very complex. And we did, like in 3 months, we arrived with a demo day that we were having a live product working on testnet. But we didn't really deploy the product on testnet because we thought, okay, it was May 2021. There was no tiny man. What's the need of a lending protocol without a DEX yet, right? So we were like, okay, let's take the summer to find innovation that we should bring on Algorand together with the project. So we studied a lot, and we found we were researching a lot hub and compound, and we have found inefficiencies in their economic model mostly, and such as the incentives or as well the way we elaborate the loan to value, the non-prioritization threshold. Those are all innovative. For example, the incentive system we use is based on cashback over interest repayment, interest paying from borrowers. So you are paying your loan, you are doing something good for the protocol, which is the revenue, then we give you cashback. You will never see on Volksfinance something that you are borrowing at 5% APR and earning 10%, simply because this is unsustainable. We want to build a product that is focused on being long-term and sustainable. That's our mission.
Right. I'm going to pivot really quick because midway your explanation, I looked down and noticed your shirt. And I apologize.
It is special for you. Like I said, I have to keep this for the ReCoop show, and I have done. Yeah.
I really appreciate it. I'm sorry to I mean I couldn't go unmentioned. So okay. So 3 years ago you meet Silvio, and this is that's around the launch of mainnet. I mean, we just celebrated I think it was 3 years on mainnet, right?
Yeah, it was more or less that. It wasn't me, it was the CEO of the software house.
Right.
But it was more or less at the very beginning of Algorand. We are between, I said, the first global partner.
Right. And I mean, I've known since I've gotten into Algorand, I've known the name Volksfinance before a tiny man, I feel, before they went live, at least. Maybe they were building, but I also noticed that, on Twitter, people that aren't necessarily in the Algorand Twitter bubble, there's an awareness of Volksfinance outside of out of just like Algorand Twitter. What is that about? What do you think that's about? Just because you've been here so early, or?
No, I believe it's mostly due also because of our community manager, Filippo, as the ping pong master. Yeah. He's very well renamed in communities, so we were being pushed around even before the launch. So I remember the testnet, we had a huge amount of users, I don't remember, and we were distributing the NFTs, right, as a reward. No airdrop, not something big. The NFT is good, but we had about 10,000 depositors. Like, it was great. And now they are still growing. And we have a lot of users not coming just from the Algorand ecosystem. They are also from Solana. We attract a lot. We still, let's say, from others, because the product is well appreciated. Yeah, and if you compare it to other lending protocol in other ecosystem, it's very easy to use.
Yeah, and then like you said, you're building a sustainable model, right? This cashback approach rather than just kind of being able to borrow and then lend and then just earn free money, which which has been present because of the Aeneas Awards. But once those awards dry up, or rewards dry up, then what's the feasibility of the protocol, right? At that point, that's the
We
point.
will launch our governance token,
Mm-hmm.
and this will be distributed thanks to the incentives. You should imagine that in 3 months from the launch, we
Mm-hmm.
were burning about 200,000 ALGO.
Mm-hmm.
We are very efficient on that, right? Like the
Mm-hmm.
TVL, it was good if it wasn't that the DeFi in general was crashing, but we are still growing in number of algo besides
Mm-hmm.
the last few weeks. But our model is extremely efficient. Even when you compare the loan to values of other lending protocols or the liquidation margins that we have, is much better. I remember one time we were asking ourselves how it's possible that we have more efficient liquidation margin, I mean the revenue from the liquidator, than Aave. And then we understood that it's simply because we are on Algorand and because the model is built efficient. So the liquidator works always perfectly. No way that we don't liquidate in time, even though we have a smaller margin.
Right. And speaking of liquidation, I mean, this is something that is very, on the forefront of a lot of people's minds right now, because crypto has been crashing, and not just algo, and, everything is. And then you're seeing these big kind of centralized banks are getting liquidated, and, centralized crypto banks, basically. And so you just announced your evolution of governance. So you had the GAlgo 3 before. So for people out there that don't know, I mean, most of my audience knows what Algorand Governance is, but it's a decentralized governance. And for a while there, we were just locking up our tokens, and it wasn't really doing much other than contributing to governance. And then people like Folks Finance and AlgoFi and Guard and some others came out with a product where people can, they can borrow against their stake, essentially. But Folks Finance does it differently than the other two. So why don't you break down, rather than me, how exactly? Maybe you could give us a quick breakdown on how it was before, and then now how is Folks Finance handling liquid governance?
Yeah, I'll give you a little of history from the very beginning, right? So
Perfect.
since the launch of the announcement of the Algorand Governance, we have been thinking about the liquid staking, right? Because we knew what was going on the other ecosystem and how we could leverage that. But the only problem, it was, the time to market. We were already building the lending protocol. It's a lot. Like Folks Finance, in terms of protocol, is huge. And this, I'm not saying that, I'm saying from the auditor words, right? The auditor were expecting such like 4 weeks of review, and then they ended up doing 8, because they didn't expect to be such a complex, in a good way, right? Protocol. So we weren't able to integrate it from when we wanted, but indeed we did it anyway at the launch. And because of the introduction of the XGovs from the Algorand Foundation at the last minute before the launch, we have been limited on the first design. We thought that the XGovs was gonna be earlier launched. So we were, for some reason, limiting the first GAlgo, right? So there was GAlgo 3, thinking that soon it was gonna be the XGov, so we had to update everything. Then in those 3 months, we understood that maybe delayed, and we thought like, okay, let's build something more complex, flexible, that we can adapt it. So we upgraded the previous smart contracts with the new updates, and we made it that even when the XGov will come, we can just update a few stuff and it will go smooth even with the new version. So we are ready for future upgrades, and right now we have what we wanted at the beginning, which is GAlgo continuous, the voting system, and also the early claim. I can tell you that the early claim was designed to be from the very beginning, but we weren't able to introduce this at the first time because it was complex. Let's say this what the launch of the protocol that was right in the beginning of the governance, and then after a week we launched the Algo Liquid Governance. We preferred to stay safe with something simple, and now that we had time, we are implementing it better.
Right. And I think it's worth, well, there's a couple of things I want to talk about with what you just said, but I think it's worth noting a great perk of Folks Finance for people in these kind of volatile times is that you don't get liquidated. There's no liquidation. And now you may mess up, or, you may trade wrong or something, and then you're going to lose, but you don't get liquidated because the price drops 40% overnight or something crazy. And then, also, this early, being able to redeem rewards early. So explain that a little bit more. So that means I can commit via Folks, and I can take the rewards immediately at whatever the rate is at that point.
Yeah, I'll explain you. So first of all, I liked what you mentioned, which is the idea of never losing your commitment, because I see so many users still on the socials thinking that you could lose commitment with Folks Finance. No, this is not happening. We designed this specifically to avoid that. So that's why we had the fee in the first in the G3, because for us, we were offering a service to the user, right? You are not losing your commitment. You are free to do whatever you want with your GAlgo. So we have to be committed for this. So we added this small fee just to let the user feeling that he's choosing something and paying for a service, right? That's how it worked. Now, even with early claim, the revenue model is totally changed. Let's explain the early claim, because it's a little tricky to get into it. So the early claim allows the users to early claim their rewards in GAlgo, not in Algo, once the commitment is ended. What it means? Let's suppose that you are committing 100 Algo, then the commitment is closed. Your Algo is being committed from Folks Finance in the Algorand Foundation governance. And we know in this day, from the beginning, what's the APR. And this is a minimum APR, right? Because then during the governance, always there are governors that are losing their commitment, so they are being slashed, and the rewards increase for the others, right? So if you decide to early claim, let's say at the first day, this 7% APR, you can do, we give it to you in GAlgo, and you know that this GAlgo at the end of the governance is going to be 1-to-1 to Algo, and you can early claim it, do whatever you want, but you are aware that potentially this 7% by the end could be 8. And we have seen that every time there is about 10% average of increasing, 10% in proportion, obviously. So this 10% became our revenue, and the revenue we will share with all the protocols and projects, even wallets, that will support GAlgo. What do I mean with that? I mean minters. If you simply allow with your interface the minting of GAlgo, through the SDK, we can count how many GAlgo was minted from this interface. So we will share the revenue based on that. And as well for protocols like DEX that will integrate the DeFi pools on with GAlgo, or NFT marketplace that will use GAlgo as payment. We will share all of this revenue, right? Like they earn as much as we earn. It will be proportionally distributed. Nothing more to Folks Finance, nothing more to anyone else. So that's the idea. And we really want that GAlgo becomes adopted in the ecosystem. And I mean, in the last governance was minted more than 13 million GAlgo. And those generated about 30 million TVL, simply because of the strategies that you can do, right? You can mint GAlgo, then go on a DEX, pair it with Algo, then take your LP, go back on Folks Finance and borrow against it. So, it creates those DeFi strategies that we like. So we believe that this is why GALGO is the game changer.
So this is a great. So let me just kind of unpack what you said real quick, because I think it was clear. I think everybody understands, but I'm just gonna see if I do. So for one, GAlgo is only minted 1-to-1. So there's always algo at Folks Finance to back up every single GAlgo that goes. So that's clear, right?
That's slightly wrong, because in the early claim, you are anticipating what the Algorand Foundation will send us as a reward. But it's there, it's not in Fox Finance, it's in the Algorand Foundation. It's not,
good.
It's not still anywhere.
Yeah. And so and that's the point, is that the APY in governance only goes up throughout the 3 months. That's just, there's no way for that to, it's no way for the APY to go down, because you're not allowed to, after a certain date, you're not allowed to stake, and people are only leaving. And we see it. They leave. They do every day. If you check the numbers, a certain amount of people, it's small, but people are always dropping off, so if somebody decides to get their rewards early because they want, whatever it is they want, then they're like, okay, it might be a difference of 1% or 2%, but like, I don't care. And then this is where Folks Finance is, because I think some people will say, okay, there's no fees. Well, how is Folks Finance going to be able to sustain through that? And you're saying, well, we noticed the amount of people coming out. We can generate revenue with this model. That's what's happening here.
Yeah, and it's much higher actually than the previous model. So, 5% fees, even on the wall rewards, is less than 10% on what it could be the early claim. And we believe that a lot of people are going to early claim, because if you think you could increase your capital efficiency by early claiming in 3 months, much better than this 10% that you are earning, right? There are so many ways, and GAlgo is, it's an input for generating trading in the ecosystem. If you think what happened usually, I love this honestly, is that, so in the very beginning, a lot of people are going to sell GAlgo, and at the same time, when it's some pegging on the DEX, other people are buying it. Because if you are going to buy, let's do numbers, it's always easier, GAlgo on a DEX at 0.95 algo, simply you are making 20% APR, because then in 3 months you are earning the 5%, so in APR is 20%, right? So it's higher than the governance. So it's simply great for algo holders. You can think of GAlgo as an enabler of trading around the ecosystem.
Right. Absolutely. And, there's also this idea out there that people will, like we're coming up to the rewards being distributed right now, and there's large wallets out there. And I think some people are like, okay, are we about to get like a bunch of selling pressure as all of this algo kind of floods the market? So there is something about, if people are kind of getting it earlier, it spreads out the kind of inflation on some level. I mean, does that make any sense?
Yeah, I don't see the reason about worrying, right? If you are using the Algorand Foundation governance, you are locking it for 3 months there, right? So the same you could do with the GAlgo. You keep it in your wallet. After 3 months, you burn it and you earn again 1 to algo. No problem. And you can even have all the full rewards, like not early claim. But I really hope that people will start to sell GAlgo, because honestly, I made a lot of money by buying always GAlgo for a cheaper price. So all the algo, and I will tell you my strategy. Okay, this is not financial advice.
No, okay, hold on, real quick before you go. You're stealing something that I was going to do later, and because I know you guys have a competition about GAlgo strategies. So I was going to make you give me your GAlgo strategy, and then I was going to joke about hopefully being able to use that as my submission. But okay, so let's hear your strategy.
Okay, so it's simply, I hold algo that I can buy GAlgo when it can lose the peg 1-to-1 with algo on the DEX. And then I can use those GAlgo that I bought for as a collateral for borrowing of Folks Finance algo, because I can never, it's difficult to get liquidated because it's based on only on the on the borrow APR, we consider the GAlgo one-to-one priced of algo. So the oracle says that the GAlgo price is algo price, right?
Even if it's
yeah,
depegged on the DEX, yeah.
Yes, because we know in 2 months we are going to get to this.
Yeah.
So I can borrow, risking almost zero of being liquidated, and do the same, right? So with my GAlgo, I borrow algo, and then I go again to buy more GAlgo. So I can loop this. And I think someone else already proposed this strategy in the previous GAlgo bullish bounty. It's working great, honestly. You can make a quite nice revenue in 3 months doing that.
Oh, okay, so that option is probably going to get less and less desirable as people are aware, because that's pretty
that's
easy.
True.
Yeah, so
it's easy for us that we understand it, right? So many people don't get it, and believe me, so many people are going to sell GAlgo because they don't care. And also, there is one thing that it's going to change this time. So in the previous period, GAlgo was paired on the pool only with algo. Now we are going to distribute incentives to pair it also with USDC. And as we get bigger, we could go with other token like BTC or any other asset. We will listen also to the community what they are wishing to have, and to liquidity provider, of course. But it will be amazing to see GAlgo being paired with other pool on the DEX, with other token on the DEX, and generate trading. I believe it's fantastic.
Yeah. And so if this is one-to-one with algo, no matter what, if you make it through 3 months and you have a bunch of GAlgo, you can burn those GAlgo for, algo on folks finance, right? So yeah, I mean, that's basically a bulletproof strategy. And so you mentioned NFTs, because I imagine, people when they use their when they get their GAlgo and they stake through folks finance, that they may want to buy an NFT, and they don't want to do all this swapping, or possibly have to swap their GAlgo for algo and then lose
because it's fee, yes.
Because the fees, or even if it's a little bit off, if it's not quite a full algo, just because of what we've been discussing. It would be nice if you could go onto these NFT marketplaces and use GAlgo. So are you in talks with any of them about possibly integrating it? Yeah. So this is something.
We are, and of course, they want to feel that GAlgo is keeping the price one-to-one with algo, right? So might get a little of more time to get to this. So maybe we wait, the commitment is ended, we settle how much GAlgo is minted. I think it's easily feasible. It could have been done already in the previous commitment, but I think it will be. We will see. We are in touch. Don't say we are doing it until I see it, but we are trying right now.
Gotcha. Well, and then I guess worst case scenario for some of these marketplaces is they have to wait until the end of the quarter to burn the GAlgo for algo, right? That would be, but I'm sure they don't want to do it.
They can sell it.
Yeah, they can sell it.
Yeah, it depends, right? If you have GAlgo USDC, what's the difference between doing? Okay, I understand there is one more step. Otherwise, like GAlgo, algo USDC, right? If you want to sell algo. Otherwise, you do GAlgo USDC if it's enough big pool, and that's the target.
Right. You said something earlier on. I feel like we've kind of covered that. Is there what am I missing about the liquid governance? Anything? I mean, I feel like
the voting. Maybe.
Oh yeah. The voting. There you go. So because this is different. Last quarter, the deal is that all of the algo put into folks finance would just vote with the foundation, right? But this is a little different this time. So I'll let you explain how it works this time.
Yes. So we added on the interface the voting, and that's not just on the Algorand Foundation proposal. It's also on folks finance proposal. So we will start to adapt our governance proposal, which I believe right now we are the first protocol doing it. And the vote will work this way. So basically, you can vote A or B, whatever it is, and then we will weight the average of the highest choice, and we will vote as community on what it was expressed from the folks finance community to be the preference, right? So if 60% votes A, we vote as 100% A. That's the deal, because like this, we will have an higher weight on the governance. And as well, we feel still that we are community, right?
Right.
If we will see that community doesn't like this, then we will switch to wait at yes or no, and that's all.
Right.
But I believe I like this because let us feel as community. That's what
I think so. I think so too. And then, so what is it? What are your feelings about Algorand governance? Like, we just had a vote about actually giving DeFi protocols like Folks Finance double the voting power. Was that something that you were in support of?
Folks Finance, the vote was aligned with the foundation because this was as our political decision from the beginning, right?
Right.
Myself, I know how the foundation was structuring this because we were supporting, and I know there was too much rush into it, so the proposal got misunderstood, and there were maybe too much of fixing things that should have been done differently from the beginning. But believe me, the foundation was in good faith, right? I know this 100%. It's just probably not the best communication has been done. So I still believe that the foundation is going to support this. The foundation is caring a lot about DeFi, and that what I can tell you for this is that we are going to distribute NAS on the liquid governance. So you will learn more on Folks Finance Algo liquid governance than the foundation in the APR. So this is a demonstration that.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me understand what you just said. So, okay.
Yeah, take a
How
break.
does that?
This is huge.
so you're the Aeneas rewards, or I've said Aeneas, but I'll give you Aeneas. So the Aeneas rewards are going to support liquid governance of the what?
We will distribute NS on the APR of the Algorand Foundation governance. So let's say if we will decide the batch. Let's not me tell the numbers precisely, because then people are gonna tell me, oh, you said this number, but then it's changed from 1 cent. But so we will increase it in order to be more competitive. Yeah, and it will make it's just more revenue. That's all.
Oh, so you're basically, because I was thinking that you guys were going to use those rewards to encourage LP on different exchanges,
and as well the liquid governance.
Yeah, and as well. So what you're saying, which I did not understand from yesterday, but I was also working in my garage as I was listening. You're saying that if I use Folks Finance for governance,
it's more convenient.
It's more convenient. It's 1-to-1. I have no liquidation concerns. I'm going to get my GAlgo. I can also get my rewards early, but maybe you don't want to do that, because in the end, if you stay through the end, then you're going to get a boosted APY from Folks Finance. So you'll get what everybody else is getting in governance, but a little bit extra with the Aeneas rewards.
No, the Aeneas you are getting even if you early claim. Look, the early claim is our revenue, so we want people to early claim.
Yeah, I know. As I was saying that, I was like, wait a second. So you'll figure out the boosted thing earlier. And so you're going to get a certain percent, and then you'll get that same percent boosted in the beginning or at the end type of thing.
Yes, you will see it from the very beginning.
All right. Okay. Well, it looks like I have a feeling that more people are going to be using Folks Finance. Cool. Well, I'm glad I'm having this conversation. All right. I want to go back to what you said about 20 minutes ago about when the auditors came to Folks Finance and they're like, "Oh, wait, we thought this was going to be a lot easier than we thought, or it was going to be more whatever." But what is it about Folks Finance that made the auditors react that way?
So we have a lot of different features. First of all, there is the liquid governance, there is the rewards aggregator, there is the lock and earn, and now we add the F staking. It's a lot of things in one single lending protocol, right? And moreover, if you look at the way we do the loan, I challenge you to find a loan which gives you that much of operation. So you can take the loan, then you can add collateral, reduce collateral, increase the loan, all in one widget, right? So all of these are different operation of the protocol. All of these are smart contracts. So it's very complex the way it's built, the structure. It's maybe not a lot of code, right? But it's still a lot of pieces that are being built together. So this makes the castle. Like it's like a lot of bricks that make the wall. So that's it. Like, and it's our mission, and we are building the V2 right now, which is going to be even more complex in a good reason, in a good way, because our target is to be the most flexible loan on DeFi. Why this? Because I believe that when at one point traditional finance will want to join this world, right, they will just look at what's the best partner to do this. And we have Algorand as chain. That's the best technology partner. And then if we make the loan to be as best as can for the user, that's it. Like I think it's the winning deal. And then of course we want to be secure. We stress a lot about security. We have done 4 audits, like 3 on the protocol, 1 of the Oracle. Every time we make a new change, we have audits. So even on these new updates of the ALGO liquid governance, which was not that big in terms of change, we still did 2 audits, right?
Right.
So we care a lot. And there is also the bug bounty on Immunify that is always live. So, we are paying the hackers to find the bug not to hack us.
Well, that's all very reassuring. Do you know? I mean, it is a little of a different experience. Folks Finance. When I go on Folks Finance, it's definitely a different experience than I'm used to. Are you noticing that maybe that presents a touch of a barrier for people to kind of adopt Folks Finance, or?
There are sometimes, like it's still DeFi. It's still complex. It's not that easy, right? You see all of this transaction. You have to confirm. Like you get scared, honestly. I understand this, and we're always trying to make it better. What I always say, users should read first the documentation. I know our documentation is so long, really, because we want to explain everything and we want to be transparent and clear. Nothing is hidden in our docs. But it's good for users to have a check, to understand what they are doing, right? And it's we always listen to the feedback. So if someone says, like, I remember I was talking with Algo HQ, Ibu said me, look, I don't really understand. I don't really think that the health factor is helping. Other member from the community said that. We changed this to the liquidation margin. Now it's very clear. You look at it and it's very understandable. So it's very important, the community feedback for us. So more we receive and better we can make it. We are very keen to our community and we want to make Folks Finance as simple as possible.
Got it. Now, I don't mean this to like start anything, but clearly AlgoFi has got a head start or something. They have a larger TVL over there. What is it maybe about Folks Finance that you think you guys are going to make a lot of? I mean, I think we just covered it really, but are you seeing? I don't know. How do I ask this question without it being like, pitting you against AlgoFi or something like that? But I'm just curious on how you see Folks Finance position in the Algorand ecosystem as it is today.
I mean, we launched later, so obviously a user gets fidelized when they use something, right? But I never say we are better than anyone else, right? So I let the user try things and then decide. So I believe that now with the innovation of the liquid governance, as you said, a lot of users are going to come to Folks Finance, and probably they will also try to take a loan. So they will see and they will just decide if something is better than something else. I'm never saying better than anyone else. I like AlgoFi. I like they are building a lot of things, but we are focusing on the lending, right? So we put all of our efforts, and we have a team of 20 people working on it. It's a lot. Like And for the V2, what we are building is simply amazing. So we will see, and the community will see. I believe that the time will show what's best.
And you said V2. So when is V2 on the roadmap?
Yeah, so we have just done the first design review with Trail of Bits. I don't know if you know this auditor, but it's a very well renamed in DeFi. Like all the biggest projects on Ethereum are being audited from them. They are very expert on lending protocol as well. And now the summer we will start to build the smart contract, and the front end as well is going to be innovated. So it's probably going to go out with the audits and everything in Q4. We also want to launch it in a better time. We are doing some research on something that is so exciting. I cannot spoil it, really. I said the mission is always to make the most flexible law and on-chain, right? This is our mission. And most efficient, obviously. But then we have something which would really make us unique. But it's in the feasibility study. We are understanding if it's really feasible to do it that way we have in mind or not.
And what capacity can you use a ledger device on folks find? I know I think you answered this question the other day with JT, but what capacity can you use a ledger on folks?
So we all know the problem of ledger, right? On Algorand is not something that's really on protocol. If a protocol is complex like us, ALGO5, it's difficult to make it compatible. You have to do some trick around. So right now on Folks Finance, you can use on the deposit and on the liquid governance. So the liquid governance was very important for us. We made it compatible. But I believe the Algorand is taking care of it. So very soon Ledger will be updated for Algorand, and then we will be able to use it freely.
So, okay. So that means that if I want to commit to governance through folks, I can do it on my Ledger. Yes. And then I can mint the G-Algo, but I won't be able to deposit that G-Algo through my Ledger to take
borrow.
out a loan, to borrow. Right.
Yeah, you cannot.
So what I would do is I would send that G-Algo to a different wallet, and then I would have to play around like that.
You can do that.
But you could do that, but then maybe there's no point to really doing that, because then your value isn't on the Ledger anyways, right?
Oh yeah, you are right. Like the commit, what you have there is just redeem the early claim or something like that. So it's not that much useful. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. All right. So like you said, you want to launch in some of these things in a better market. We're in a very rough time, and it's globally, it's in all different walks of investing. The stock market, everything is down right now. And I've been noticing, I tweeted about it this morning. I've been noticing a lot of people saying that nobody cares about the tech, right? Nobody cares. I even had Mark Cuban. I had a quick email back and forth with him, and he told me nobody cares about the tech. And he did also say that they just want the app that they can't live without, all right? So I guess I'm asking you this because why Algorand, and do you think that the tech does in fact matter?
Yeah, of course. I think it matters, but I think it's very important also the products, right? So we need a killer app on Algorand to scale it. We definitely need it. We need as well Algo USDC, USDT on DEX, on checks, to make trading, to make volumes. That's very important. Also accessibility in the DeFi. Yes. Those are things that we are missing, right? Even the ledger has everything that is missing there.
Yeah.
But if you have this together with the technology, there is no way you are not beating something that the technology isn't working, right? Solana is breaking every 2 weeks. And in my opinion, also, when you look at an institutional level, right? How can you think an institution that needs always instant finality, right? And you cannot be delayed on something very important. to rely on something that is breaking all the time. I don't think that they do. So I believe Algorand as technology, this makes the difference on this. Maybe for, if you have an app that counts your steps, you're not caring that it's not working 3 hours, right? But if you have to move billions on a transfer, right, and it's breaking, you're starting to worrying. Maybe it's on hold, it's not the same. Like Algorand, when you transfer something, it's always feeling and going well. Never done a problem.
Absolutely. Yeah, I guess you just made a good point, and like and Solana has something like that. There's some problem with it, I think, but yeah, that step thing, or they have a game that looked kind of cool where you buy shoes, NFTs or something. I don't really know a lot lot about it, but things like that. Okay, it doesn't work. Well, it'll work eventually. You'll be fine.
It depends on the mission, right?
And the mission, right? But Algorand's mission from the beginning is to be the future of finance. So that takes security, scalability. And, if you're going to stay out of regulators' way, and if you're going to actually be truly secure, then also decentralization as well. And Algorand tries to achieve all those things. And we all know that. So you're happy to be on Algorand, and you're not going anywhere, is what you're telling me. All
right. I say that I always pitch it as I'm always bullish on it. And I will be, I still believe that our time will come. And the strings are moving in the right way. We will see a lot of capitals deployed on DeFi. So I believe DeFi growth is very important, because once other users, like from other ecosystem, will see us in the top 10 scaling the TVL, it's very important. Because then what other users do when they will see this, you want to join the governance, the liquid governance. The thing that you have to do is buy ALGO. Doesn't matter what, to go in Algorand, you have to buy ALGO. So this will generate the ALGO price to grow, and it's more TVL, and it's like
and then excitement as the price grows. And this is to maybe some of these the tech doesn't matter point is, as the price grows, then the community grows, and eventually it gets so big that it doesn't go anywhere, right? That's kind of how this goes on some level as well. But like you said, and like the tech needs to be able to back that up eventually. At some point, you can build the killer app, but if it's built on a chain that can't support it, right?
But look, also think of Ethereum merge. It's always delaying. Like Ethereum is great. It was the foundation of everything, right? But it's delaying too much that people are getting annoyed with that, so are losing trust. So say now to Mark Cuban that tech doesn't matter, because the Ethereum has done very bad lately. Algo was keeping much better the heat than Ethereum. Like we have lost in percentage less than Ethereum. So I think it matters.
It's also, by the way, it feels like that people don't want to talk about Algorand because they don't want people to really they want it to be kind of not talk. It's like if people start talking about it, then people might become aware of it. I mean, I know that gets to be a little Algorand, like, hopium, but still it does feel like people like to shut it down a little bit, like nobody talk about it because don't give it a voice. So anyways, but I'm glad that you're here. You gave it a voice. I'm glad that we were able to chat. Is there anything that we did not bring up that you think that we should have, or did we do it?
I don't think so. It was very funny. I think it's amazing.
Great. Thank you. Yeah, and thank you for wearing the shirt. And I'm glad to hear that Filippo actually represented Folks Finance well. I was wrong. I apologize to him. If you're watching, I'm sorry. I didn't know that you got third place. All right. Well, Benedetto, I appreciate you coming on, and you're invited to come on anytime, really. So
thank you so much. I'm wishing to come back here with another t-shirt, another shirt. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. You'll have to go to. I need to actually refresh my shirts. So I wish the price would go up a little bit so I could go. No, I'm just kidding. I can afford shirts. Everybody. All right, everybody. All right. Thank you, Benedetto.
Thank you so much.